motherfucker. Hello, my name is Joey Kiefer. I am an illustration major here at Moore College of Art and Design, and I recently told my 10-minute story about my transition from living in the middle of nowhere to the big city known as Philadelphia.
So where are you from?
I'm from Confluence, Pennsylvania, which is in Somerset County. It's about 5 hours away from here. It's very small. It has like 200 people as the population number. It's all pretty. It's like a tourist town. You come to it, and people come mostly to bike because you have the Allegheny Passageway to bike, you know? That's people come through. You got little diners to sit at, but otherwise it's kind of not much of a place for opportunity.
What did you like about your hometown?
I liked about my hometown is that it's very scenic in nature. There's a lot of trees, there's a lot of rivers, and it's named Confluence, which the term confluence means like when three rivers come together. I don't know the three river names, but I know one's the Allegheny and one's the Youghiogheny. But they would come together, and they made like the shape of a turkey's foot, and that's the name of my school that I went to. It's Turkey Foot Valley. Yeah.
Alright, what are things that you didn't like about your hometown?
It was mainly the fact that the people I was around at all times, they were never there to really branch me out into what the world was. Like, everyone fit into this very little bubble, and I was like one of the only people that was outside that bubble, so it made it very hard to make friends where I lived. Also, there was like nothing really to do besides like outdoor sports, because that was the biggest thing. Like, there was no opportunity for my arts, what I was interested in, things that I wanted to do. Everything that I wanted to do, I had to, like, branch out. So where I live, there was nothing that interested me in any sense.
What made you decide to come to the city initially?
Well, I really wasn't familiar with any kind of city, actually. The only city that I really went to was Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and that in its own is kind of small compared to any other city like Philadelphia or New York, all that. I was debating on going to LA, actually, but like I said, I'm unfamiliar with the city. So when my opportunity came for the summer program and I went, I got to experience the city, and I got, like, toured the city in a way almost. Like, you know those tour buses where the person is like, this is that, that's that. They, like, showed you William Penn in the middle of City Hall and all. They, like, gave a history lesson about it all. And, like, just being in Center City and realizing that the city wasn't as, like, dangerous as everyone makes it out to be, I came to like it. And I came to like that everything was conveniently just a little walk away. So, yeah, I came to Moore.
How did you feel about the city initially? Like when you first got here?
I was scared. I was scared of the city. My grandmother used to, before I went to Sadie for summer, my grandma was like, you have to keep your phone on you at all times. You have to make sure people go with you at all times. You have to, because there's bad people out there, and they're going to get you. They're going to get you. And she kind of put like this whole fear into me, and my mother wasn't much better. But you know, I went, I saw, and I experienced for myself, and I got to really choose how to be safe. I got to learn all of that, got the precautions down and everything. So, my initial thoughts, my initial reaction was terrified.
How about now?
Now I love it. I don't care, I can walk to Target on my own. I got mace on me all times. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I feel safe. I feel safe.
That's great.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Philly that you never had in your hometown?
Oh my gosh, my favorite thing about Philly? I want to say Wawa is one of them, because where I lived, we had Sheetz, which is basically Wawa, but also you had to drive 45 minutes to get to Sheetz. where I lived. But now, when I'm a little hungry in the middle of the night, and the Wawa that's up the street closes at 1 in the morning, I can walk myself up to Wawa and get myself a quesadilla. I love that about Philly. I love that everything is so convenient to get, and that there's always something new to see and always new people to see as well. Like, so many events happen, even in Love Park. So, yeah, I feel like I'm never bored. Whereas where I lived in the middle of nowhere, it was the same thing every day. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, for fun once, tried to teach me how to chop firewood because we had nothing else better to do.
Oh,
And I hated it. Every part about it.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Need some, like, strength up here to go. I don't got that, Hunter. Not yet, at least.
What was your experience like in Sadie?
And Sadie, that was a trip. It definitely got me out of my shell. It definitely took me places. Like, I loved it a lot. I'm glad I got to go to it. But, like, I think back on it a little bit. I'm like, man, I was such a kid, you know? Like, we would go places. I met people. My more prominent memories are just, like, not really of the schoolwork I did, but more so the relationships I made and, like, the funny things we would do just as a friend group in Sadie. Like, I don't want to say any of the examples because it's kind of embarrassing, but, you know, it was fun. It was a wild time. It was, like, I finally felt like I got to live a part of my life that I've been missing out on forever, because where I lived, I never had a lot of friends, and I never got to do the things that kids got to do. But when I came to Sadie and I had the opportunity to, like, go out and see people, it was an entirely different story, and I felt like I just had more to do, more to experience, and I'm glad I had the experience, despite the multiple crazy things that did end up happening.
Do you think you would have come here to more if you hadn't gone to Sadie?
I don't think so, actually, because initially I was introduced to more by my art teacher through the Sadie program, because she had a little pamphlet that she gave me. And with that pamphlet, I showed my mom, and I was like, I want to go do this. But without that pamphlet, I don't think I would ever have known more existed. And I probably would have ended up going to a community college for the arts. And even then, it wouldn't be like specific illustration or anything. It would just be art in general, fine art. And that's not something I wanted to pursue. So I'm kind of lucky in that manner that I got to figure out what more was. And I'm very lucky that it's in state and not that far from home.
Now that you've lived in the city for a while, is there anything that you miss about your hometown?
I have recently been getting this overwhelming feeling of homesickness, but I'm not sure really if it's like specific or if it's just like for my family. But you asked what I miss?
Yeah.
I think I miss the ability to be alone. Because now that I'm here, like, you can't go anywhere and just have time to yourself, I feel. You don't have, like, a comfort space to really just be with yourself. There's always noise somewhere, there's always people somewhere, there's always going to be, like, you're going to have to communicate your way through your every single day. Whereas, like, when I lived in the middle of nowhere, I could go a day without saying a word to anyone. And being so used to that and then coming to the city and having to talk to so many people all the time, it does drain your social battery. And now I miss having time to myself a lot.
Can you tell me like a funny experience you've had in the city that you wouldn't have had elsewhere?
Oh my gosh, you know the naked bike race? The Philadelphia naked bike race? I never thought that would happen in my lifetime. We were walking back from Blick, and suddenly there were just people naked on bikes, hundreds of them, and it's like, what the fuck is happening, ayo? And then, like, we were just in so much utter shock that this woman, she came up to us and, like, had to explain everything, like, oh, this is an annual thing, this happens every year, and it's like, whoa, That's insane. That's insane. That's something I did not know would ever happen. I was not expecting that. It's cool, but I didn't know that was gonna happen.
How have you changed since coming to the city, like, as a person?
As a person, I've changed dramatically, I would say, because at home, where I am from, you are shielded from the world in a way. You are taught to live by this societal standard, and you don't really get to look out and see what there is out of that bubble. But when I came to the city, I met other people that, like, I don't know, that weren't white, that weren't cishet, that, you know, were pretty open about it too. And in learning that that was a thing and all of the such, I came to understand that a lot of the thoughts that I've been having that were causing me to be a misfit during my time living at home were actually, I could live normally with knowing how I actually was and that I wasn't crazy and that it is different from what people conservatively think, but it is nevertheless something else that exists, and I feel like acknowledging that in the city really helped me to figure out who I was. So, I never would have known that I was trans if I did not come to Philly at all, probably. I don't know, COVID was a different time, I feel. That also was a big factor in becoming who I was. Sorry, I'm like trying to think through this. But yeah, I did not become. I was. But I like more openly can be myself, I believe. And back home, nobody like really accepts that in a way. The more progressive views are very turned down upon. But here I can believe what I want to believe, and I can be who I want to be without the judgment of others that are back home.
You mentioned having social anxiety. Has that improved?
It has, dramatically. Oh my gosh. I told you before, like, I cannot go into a store by myself without being on the verge of tears or in tears, but now I can do it no biggie. It's, like, the easiest thing in the world to me. And as a kid, like, I never thought I would get past that, and it was just something that was so horrible for me to always live with. But now that I'm, like, over it, I feel like I can breathe normally again. I can, like, experience the world how I've always wanted to experience it. So it definitely benefited me in that sense. I don't have panic attacks when I go outside anymore.
How have you changed as an artist since coming here to art school?
As an artist, I feel like coming to art school, they really force you to branch out of your comfort zone. You have to abide by the rules set for you based off your major and the classes that you take and everything. Like, I am strictly digital, but coming to more, I've started doing more traditional type things. One of my main subjects I would always draw before coming to art school were like animals, but now I'm more into figures. I'm more into drawing characters, human people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Have you noticed any physical changes?
Physical changes. Well, back home before I came to art school, I was trying to like fit into the bubble again. And so I was letting myself look more feminine. I was allowing my hair to grow out. I was basically trying to be a girl when I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And when coming to art school, I realized I had like a freedom to do whatever I wanted. So I cut off all my hair before coming here. I dyed it for the first time ever. My mother never let me dye my hair, but how's she gonna know when I'm here in Philadelphia? She don't know. She don't call me. But I got to experiment with my hair color. I got to see what I liked, what I didn't like. And I got facial piercings. I got one facial piercing, a septum. I always wanted that. I had the freedom to go get that on my own. And yeah. I don't know, I am allowed to experiment with my clothes a lot as well. Because at home they're very conservative. You have to wear this, this, and that. And my mom is very, very strict about us wearing certain clothes out and whether or not, like, I don't know. I can put on a t-shirt and walk outside here. My mother would be like, you are not dressed. You're in pajama clothes. Go put your clothes on. And that always, like, messed me up and put a weird pressure onto me and to, like, how I should appear at all times. And it even, like, still bothers me now to this day. I'm not sure how to appear to people, and I'm always thinking about, I'm like, oh God, I probably look stupid right now because I was always forced to, like, be in this very conservatively dressed bubble. This bubble. It messed me up. But here I can, like, I don't know, I can experiment with myself and I can choose who I am.
My last question is overall, are you happy with your decision to live in the city?
Most definitely. Would I live here after college? I don't think I would live directly in the city due to just costs and things, and I don't want to get robbed or anything. Like, I know I'm being precautious about the city in the end, but I do love it a lot, and I'm probably going to live nearby. I'm going to travel, but I'm going to live near the city, and I'm overall very happy with coming here, because if I hadn't, I don't know where I'd be right now, honestly. It's a little bit funny to think about, but because I cannot see myself anywhere but here.